We'll do a bunch of stuff. I love that tune.
Hello and good evening. Welcome to Field Talk. I am the Field, also known as Field of Bears, here to remind you that socialism always ends in starvation and genocide. Today, I can't get the printer to work, so I'm going to be working off the screen again, but that's okay because we are having a writing session. Now, I ran a poll and most of the votes were for starvation, which means that you guys wanted me to read Oso Grande from the beginning. And since I finally have my internet fixed, it won't die in the middle this time. Excellent. Thank you very much, Boulder Bear. I love writing with you guys. You guys have great ideas and great questions. I love it. I absolutely love it. Especially since I think that the story about how complying in order to gain social approval is diminishing to the individual. Yeah. Everyone missed much of Oso last time because my internet had not been figured out yet. And we skipped it last time because I was just so furious about the Tommy Robinson situation. Why is everything shifted to the left? Hold on just a minute. Let me see if I can fix this. It appears. There we go. Let me fix that. Okay, now get back to there. There. That's better. Thank you very much, Pinder. Okay. Well, one thing I think we need to be aware of. I think I'll be talking about this tomorrow. I need to watch the video, but apparently there has been a TEDx talk. No, not a TEDx, a TED talk about there's been a apparently there's been a TED talk about how we need to remove the stigma around pedophilia because it's a sexual orientation and they need help and treatment, and there shouldn't be stigma which drives them to get treatment. Yeah. I'm not exactly cool with that, but I need to watch the video and find out what the arguments are. And because I need to be able to actually argue against them, it's pretty. Yeah, this is a TED Talk, guys. This isn't just like Salon. This is mainstream. That is pretty horrible. I'm not prepared to really talk about their arguments yet because I haven't even seen the video yet. I didn't want to be angry for the writing session. So let's. We got five of you in here, so that's not a bad number. I'll get right into reading, if you guys don't mind. A bunch of white light on my face now. That's fantastic as always. I'm not white enough. No, my Irish skin that's allergic to sunshine. All right, so I won't be trying to do voices. I do want to record this in my own voice, and maybe have my sister do the rabbit voices and cut them together. It'll be a fun project to learn how to edit audio, I think, with Audacity. So there's something to look forward to from me in the future. A little bit of content. And also, we need to get an illustrator for sure. Yeah, I'm so Irish that the fog follows me around. Because if it doesn't, the sun will kill me. Anyway, so far, far away in the deep dark woods, where the animals can talk to each other, there lived a big bear named Oso Grande. Now, Oso Grande was a kind big bear with a big cave and a big table with lots of room and a big heart for lots of friends, or at least critters who liked him. Among those critters were all sorts, because Oso Grande had room in his big heart for just about everybody. From the wandering wolves to the little bunnies in their warrens, to the squirrels in their trees, and even for Donkey Jack and his loud braying. From the time he was a cub, Oso Grande loved playing games with the bunnies, because they always came up with the biggest, best games, even though they were very small. Even though he and Donkey Jack hardly ever won those games, because they always involved running and jumping, Oso Grande thought them the most fun in the deep dark woods. He and his friends weren't the only things that Oso Grande had room for in his big heart. There was plenty of room left over for salmon and honey, and how to get them. The salmon because it made him strong and healthy, and the honey because it just tasted so gosh darned good. To get the salmon, he'd fish the streams and tributaries, which was fun on its own, but even more fun if a friend like Donkey Jack happened along to have a chat while he did. Nobody knows if he liked the days when he brought back long sticks strung with fish better, or the days. Screen reading is hard on my eyes. Or the days when all he brought back were the words of one of his many friends. Getting the honey was a bit of a different story, since the only way to get it was to climb the tallest trees in the deep dark woods, and to take a honeycomb from the beehives up there. The bees didn't much like it when he did that, but Oso Grande had such thick fur and skin that he hardly ever even felt a single sting. Unlike fishing, there were no days where Oso Grande set out for honey and came back without any, since the beehives were easy to find. Once he found one, he'd just climb up the tree no matter how tall, and if it was in a special spot, he'd get to enjoy the view that only the birds and squirrels usually see. Yeah, I didn't think it was necessary to actually add that in to the story Boulder Bear, because that would just be fluff. The only thing I'm trying to communicate is how he gets. Yeah, exactly, Boulder Bear. But the only thing that needs to be communicated at this point in the story is how he gets the honey, and why getting the honey is just as enjoyable as the honey itself. So it's more about climbing the tree than taking the honeycomb. And the implication is taking a honeycomb isn't the same thing as taking the entire beehive. All right. Yeah, exactly. That's now where was Oso Grande was happy. Donkey Jack was happy. The squirrels were happy. The bunnies were happy, and everyone was happy. Except there was one thing. One day, when Oso Grande had just gotten himself a nice big chunk of honeycomb and had watched the most beautiful sunset he'd seen all day. I'm sorry. I just can't help but laugh at that. I want to leave that joke in there. I enjoy it so much. I'm sorry. I'm leaving it. A bunny, Brittany Keeners, was standing at Oso Grande's cave with her bunny arms crossed and tapping her bunny foot, waiting for him. Oso Grande smiled a big-hearted smile and gave her a happy greeting. Hello, Brittany. Would you like a piece of honeycomb? It's not fair, she said with a voice as cross as her arms. Oso Grande was puzzled, since he knew everybody liked honey a great deal. So he sat down cross-legged so that he would be just a little bit closer to his little friend and asked, What isn't fair? Is somebody picking on you? Brittany rolled her eyes. Sorry, reading from a screen is hard on my eyes. Speaking of eyes, again with the heart on my eyes. And sighed as if Oso Grande was just a big dummy, and told him, It's just not fair that you can get honey when the rest of us can't even get close to the beehives. Now when I do the reading, I'm going to make that sound more whiny. Oso Grande patted Brittany's little head and ruffled her ears a little, and told her there are lots of things that just aren't fair. I can't make the bees not sting you. What I can do is give you some honey, since I love sharing with my friends. And can't you see how that's even more unfair? Don't I like sharing with my friends? How am I supposed to share with you when I can only get the honey from you? Oso Grande was even more puzzled by these puzzling questions, since he knew typo, that Brittany shared lots of things with him. Well, he started, you share blackberries with me, and I like those plenty, so let's call that even. No, no. Everyone agrees we'd be happier if nobody could get the honey. If nobody could get the honey, it would. If nobody could get the honey, than if. Sorry. We had to get it from you. Everyone? Everyone. Oso Grande was deeply troubled by this revelation, since he had all of the bunnies and many other critters besides in his big heart. He puzzled his puzzler over this puzzling puzzle for a good long while, and he just couldn't see how to make everyone happy and still get to eat his honey. So he handed over his whole honeycomb to Brittany. Sorry, I misread that. And told her sorrowfully, If it will make everyone happy, then I'll give up my honey, even though I like it terribly. For a long while, Oso Grande would go on long walks and just look at the beehives from the ground. and walk on until he found a big tall tree without a beehive in it to climb up to the tippy top. There he'd think about how big the deep dark woods were and how many critters lived there, and how he wanted all of them to be happy. Then he wouldn't miss honey all that much anymore, since not having it was making so very many other critters happy. For some reason, though, Oso Grande didn't feel quite so big as he did before. A little while after Oso Grande's walks to climb trees without beehives were happy walks instead of sad ones, another bunny, Liam Hoppington, was waiting for Oso Grande at his cave with his bunny arms crossed and his bunny foot tapping. He had to wait a good long while for Oso Grande to amble along with a long stick strung through the gills of 15 big salmon. Liam made himself look as angry as a bunny can look, and said just as angrily, "It's just not fair, Oso Grande." Now, Oso Grande liked how well Liam played bunny ball, and was always glad to have him on his team, so seeing the bunny so far from happy that he was angry was a big bit of trouble. Because Oso Grande wanted everyone to be happy, he asked, "What isn't fair, Liam?" Liam glared at Oso Grande as if not knowing why he was mad was just as irritating as why he was mad in the first place, and said, "Yeah. Sorry. It's not fair that you're the only one who can fish." Oso Grande sat down on the ground so that he would be a little closer to his little friend, and said with a warm smile, "But I'm not the only one who can fish. Eagle Bob and William Wolf fish too." Who cares what Eagle Bob and William? Who cares about Eagle Bob and William Wolf? They're mean anyway. You don't want to be like mean critters, do you, Oso Grande? Oso Grande found himself troubled, since he didn't think either of them to be mean critters, but he had a great deal of trust in Liam. In order to settle the conflict in his head, he asked, "What makes you say they're mean?" "They won't listen to bunnies at all." "Gosh, that does sound mean. I don't want any bunny to think I wouldn't listen. That's why I stopped getting honey." "That's why you did that? Well, thanks for listening to the bunny who told you." Oso Grande felt glad that he was appreciated, and thought that giving up honey wasn't so bad after all, and he said so. "It wasn't as hard as I thought it would be." Liam smiled crookedly and said, "Well, you listened once, you can listen again, and what I'm asking isn't that much more than what you did already." "Gosh, Liam, I do want to make you..." Yeah, exactly, Boulder Bear. You are spot on with that. You are spot on. Where was I? Since you listen once. But I can't stop fishing because that's how I get my salmon. That's the worst part, the little bunny bellowed. We can't even eat the salmon if we could catch it in the first place. I just don't see why that bothers you then. Liam was losing patience, if he ever had any. As he explained, "Look, we can't eat the salmon and we can't catch the salmon. It's a double whammy of can't. How do you think we feel seeing you do something we just can't? Did you ever think we might want to fish if we could? No, you didn't. Everyone feels like we'd be better off if nobody fished than if it was just you." Oso Grande was deeply troubled by the thought that he was making everyone unhappy by catching salmon in the streams. But he also knew that salmon was one of the best things for him to eat. On the other hand, he had learned to live without honey, so he could do the same thing with salmon. The bear racked his brains so hard looking for an answer that Liam was afraid that he might have broken it. But still, he couldn't figure out a way for him to keep fishing for salmon and make everyone happy. Oso Grande sighed a big sigh from the bottom of his big heart and said, "If it'll make everyone happy, I'll give up salmon." For some reason, Oso Grande felt a little bit smaller. After he stopped fishing, it took Oso Grande a while to run out of fish. And once that happened, he found himself just a little bit hungry, always. It wasn't as though there was nothing for him to eat, but every meal just lacked something. Eventually, though, Oso Grande got used to it. Climbing trees and talking to his friends was enough to keep him moving along. One evening, after watching the sky paint itself pink, then orange, then yellow in glorious sunset, Oso Grande found Edgar Allan Hop. I'm sorry. The names are all rabbit puns. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry, because I love them. Shut up. They're probably all listening, Pinder. Unless I am not seeing it on my chat doohickey. I can check this. Yeah, no. Edgar. Sorry, I misread it. It's Edgar Alban. Where was it? Hop. Edgar Alban Hop. They're all bunnies. It's not yeah. Although that's a really good Edgar Allan Poe pun. I love it, Boulder Bear. It's great. And I'm not sorry about any of my bunny names at all. They're amazing, and I love them. Shut up. Was waiting for him with his bunny arms crossed and tapping his bunny foot. Oso Grande could see that he was troubled, so he asked, "What's wrong, Edgar?" Edgar Alban Hop sighed, as though he was dreading the following statement, and said, "It's just not fair, Oso Grande." Oso Grande was puzzled at what could possibly be unfair after giving up both salmon and honey. Oso Grande sat down cross-legged to be a little closer to his little friend and asked, "What isn't fair?" Edgar looked at Oso Grande's ears and said, "The other rabbits say it's unfair that you climb trees when they can't." This made no sense to Oso Grande for a number of reasons. One of which he said, "It's not like I'm the only one who can climb trees." "I know that," Edgar sighed. "And I said so. I said that the squirrels climb trees all day long, but that doesn't matter to them. They just go on and on about how unfair it is that you get to see the sunset from way up there." "Why don't I go talk to the bunnies who are bothering you, Edgar?" No, Edgar said defeatedly. "That would only make them feel worse." "Well, I don't want to make any bunny feel bad." Yeah, I'm not gonna make up right there. The only thing that will make them happy is if you quit climbing trees," Edgar sighed. Oso Grande was deeply troubled by Edgar's distress. Since he was only trying to help everybody get along, and since he didn't want to make any more trouble for Edgar, he said, If it will make everyone happy, I'll stop climbing trees. For some reason, Oso Grande didn't feel very big anymore. The next day, Oso Grande was throwing stones into the river that ran through the deep, dark woods, and was trying to not think about honey, salmon, or climbing trees. When he was startled by the coarse braying in his ear, "You don't look like yourself, Oso Grande." "I don't feel like myself, Donkey Jack," Oso Grande answered. "Tell me what's wrong." "I just want to make everyone happy, but that's easier said than done." "How are you going to make everyone happy?" Donkey Jack laughed. And I think it's important that Donkey Jack laughs at that idea, because he knows it's impossible. "First, it was giving up honey. Brittany Keener said that would make the bunnies happy. Then Liam Hoppington said if I stopped fishing, it would make everyone happy. And now I stopped climbing trees too because Edgar Allan Hop said that it would make everyone happy." Donkey Jack snorted. "It sounds like the bunnies are picking on you." "A little bunny pick on me? I'm much too big for that." Don't worry, guys, we are right at the end. Oh man, it sucks. There's only 4 dudes here. Yeah. I shouldn't have looked at that right then. Donkey Jack looked sidelong at Oso Grande and said, "I'm not so sure about that. You look a bit smaller to me." "Yeah, I know, Boulder Bear. You're pretty solid today." "They wouldn't pick on me. They're my friends," Oso Grande objected. Why is that capitalized? "If they were your friends," Donkey Jack raved, "then they wouldn't make you change who you are when you weren't doing anything wrong. It's not like that. They just want things to be fair. If things were fair, I'd have a beautiful singing voice." The idea of a jackass trying to sing is hilarious to me for some reason. Probably because I have a juvenile sense of humor, but I picture it in my head and it's horrifying and hilarious. Oso Grande sat in silence and Donkey Jack left him to his thoughts. But there was somebody else who didn't like what Donkey Jack said at all. The very next day, Hops Diggersby was waiting at Oso Grande's cave for him to come out at the crack of dawn, with his bunny arms crossed and his bunny foot tapping the ground without any patience. "What's up, Hops?" Why is there a space there? Oso Grande asked, with a sense of foreboding. "Why are you hanging out with that toxic Donkey Jack?" "Toxic?" asked Oso Grande. "Donkey Jack has been our friend since forever." Hops narrowed his eyes and leaned in close. "Why would you be friends with such a hateful critter?" Oso Grande was puzzled by this, since he had never known Donkey Jack to hate anybody. So he said, "Golly, I think you must be listening to some awful rumors because Donkey Jack is a really kind critter. If that was true, then why did he tell you that we're not your friends?" Now Oso Grande thought about that for a good long while before he said, "I don't think that's what he meant." "I'll tell you what he meant," spat Hops. "He meant that you shouldn't be friends with bunnies." At this point, Hops Diggerby was huffing and puffing like something rather big and bad, but still managed to puff out, Do you know why he would want that? Oso Grande had never been more confused in his life, so he simply groaned, "No? I'll tell you why." The angry bunny puffed. "It's because Donkey Jack thinks he's better than bunnies, and he hates bunnies." "Are you really going to be friends with a critter who hates bunnies?" He stood there with his chest heaving and his eyes blazing, as Oso Grande tried to puzzle out how to answer in silence. The silence didn't last because Hops demanded, "Answer me." With pain in his heart and on his face, Oso Grande answered, "No, I don't want to be friends with a critter like that." Just around the corner, there was a certain donkey who heard everything and who walked away with a broken heart. Oso Grande saw neither nose nor tail of his former friend, Donkey Jack, over the next few days, as he went about his business collecting berries and other victuals that the bunnies didn't feel unfair for him to eat. Strangely, though, the best things were out of his reach, and he felt a bit small. Alright, so that's the story so far. And it took 30 minutes to get through it. So I don't think I'll be reading the story so far anymore. And I lost most of the dudes. Where's my outline? Non-bear X. Alright, so there's abandon a friend. Checked off. Exactly, Boulder Bear. That's exactly what it is. It's a Linsky isolate tactic. Like they want to control. Like Oso Grande is just like he's a legend. He's killing it. He's climbing trees. He's catching salmon. He's everybody likes him. He's doing great. And there are a total of 7 bunnies who actually want him to change. It's obviously not all of the bunnies, but we don't see that. All we see are the bunnies who complain. That's all we can see. Well, it's more I don't really have motivations for the bunnies fleshed out. It's more like they want to control him because he's a legend, right? And you want to have the legend under your control. Sure, he's big and powerful, but the only reason he was ever a big powerful legend is because he was an independent bear who was just going out and crushing, just going out and doing his thing, like a bear does. Yeah, exactly. It's and don't want to deal with the fact that he's just excellent, and they want to tear down the excellence, but they also want to have the legend under their control. But the thing that I'm getting at with yeah, exactly. He's exactly Boulder Bear. He's too successful for the communal kind of attitude of the bunnies. And since I don't want to be terribly on the nose with the whole with how close it is to an analogy for socialism, I don't want to be terribly on the nose about that. So I'm just going to leave that out and let that it's pretty heavily implied, of course, because the first things that are attacked are the things that would make him successful as a bear, doing bear things. Yeah, of course. So the implication is there. So the parent can explain about the communalism, that kind of attitude, if the child asks the questions. Because some kids will pick it out and some kids won't. But all of the kids will see that just doing things to make others happy when you aren't doing anything wrong is not the right move. They'll be able to see that with the incremental diminishing that is going on here. And I'm going to go ahead and show you. Now I am not like a super great visual artist, but it's like the stages. Can you see that? The stages look something like that. Now they're for when we get it illustrated, where he actually ends up being smaller than the rabbits in the illustrations. Because every time you give up a part of yourself in order to fit into the group, you don't become more like the group, you just become less like yourself. That's it. Yeah, these next ones, these next ones, or my non-bear acts. Sorry, I keep on writing different notes in this notebook. It's not very organized, but I wrote them down, which helps me remember things. The next one is to eat grass, and only grass, like a rabbit does. Like that's the, and I did sort of foreshadow it a little bit today with what I read today, where all the Oso where Oso Grande was eating foods that the bunnies didn't think were unfair for him to eat. So, and I'm getting away from the it's just not fair attitude from the bunnies. And now it's more of do this or else attitude. Right? It was pretty heavily implied that you have to abandon Donkey Jack as a friend, or else you hate bunnies too. Right? I think that was pretty. I think that was a pretty clear implication, and I think it was a pretty clear implication. What do you guys think? If you're watching this later, let me know in a comment. Uh, and I want to know. I'm a little bit sad that there aren't as many dudes here. Usually I have like 12 to 15 dudes in here spitting ideas at me. So I think that reading the entire story is the wrong move. Well, yeah, the last time we had a successful hang, we decided that Donkey Jack definitely gets a speech at the end. Definitely, Donkey Jack gets to call out Oso Grande's behavior, how he's been betraying himself and his actual friendships, how he doesn't agree with any of the things that he's been doing, and he knows what it is to be a bear, and he knows it's not wrong to be a bear. So yeah, now you're acting like a rabbit, but you're smaller than a rabbit, and you're not even a rabbit. You're like a bear shaped miniature rabbit. I don't know if that would be a pretty good insult from Donkey Jack, but yeah, he's definitely going to get like a long sort of paragraph just going through point by point. Is you let someone else tell you to give up the treat you enjoyed most just because they couldn't just because they felt bad about how good you were about getting it. That's something it can start. I think that might come after. I'm starting to think that this should have a heroic ending. I was talking to my sister about this earlier today, and I've been kicking around the question of tragic endings versus heroic endings on the writing hang since the beginning. But Boulder Bear, I'm thinking that heroic ending is the way to go on this. He maybe Oso Grande should get a. Well, the thing is, I was thinking about a tragic ending because I think too many children's stories these days have happy endings, but that's not the same thing as a heroic ending. I'm thinking maybe he gets a bittersweet heroic ending. It's a. Hey, Dax! You made it! I think we've decided that we're going heroic with the ending of Oso Grande in our last 15 minutes. And I just got finished reading the whole thing through, and we were discussing how we're on the next point of the non-bear acts, which is eating grass and only grass. I think that could be a different Oso Grande story, Boulder Bear, about the importance of strength. That's a good idea. I'm gonna write that down. Actually, I really like that idea. See why I have a notebook. Uh, no working title for this one. Like a really masculine, positive story. That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. Every one of these kind of Oso Grandes, yeah, that's a very good idea. I like that. Um, I want to. The thing about this, the Oso Grande makes everyone happy. Is I want to keep the focus of this story on individual diminishment versus empowerment, and how just compliance just for the sake of approval is definitely the wrong move. That's the message I want to go for with this story. But I think that's a great idea, Boulder Bear. And that can also have kind of a side kind of positive masculinity lesson as well, because that works in with strength and leadership, and you can twine those together. Yeah, exactly. It's why I don't know why I put the notebook away. I'm gonna need this in a second. It's why I did the sketch here. Yeah, this sketch. I don't know if you can see it from way over there, but no, you can't. I'll transition again. Yeah, that's why I did this sketch right here. To see kind of the scale. to give you guys an idea that when it's illustrated, I would like it if Oso Grande, after each of our events, he's drawn smaller and smaller until the point where he's actually smaller than the bunnies, and he's just got no smile and on his face either. Now the thing I'm trying to think of is, how are they going to tell him that he should just eat grass? Yeah, you get it, Boulder Bear. Like right away. I don't even have to tell you. It's great. That's why I really love explaining concepts with a story like this, because you just get it. Unless you're a socialist, then you have severe mental problems and can't get it. So, how are the bunnies going to have him eat grass? How? I'm having trouble with that idea. Ah. I will never not make fun of socialists, guys. Just always. Yeah, actually, it's worth. Well, that's a good way to put it. But the thing we came up with, and I think it's great, is the last one is revile bears. Say bears are evil, and that would be kneeling for a bear, right? Yeah, but what is kneeling for a bear? It's calling yourself evil. It's reviling yourself and all other bears. That's kneeling. And that's, as you saw, he broke his best friend's heart. Just now, he broke his best friend's heart, and now he's just wandering around. He's picking up the things that are still fair for him to eat, but he can't even reach. Now he can't even reach the best things. Out of that limitation, he can't reach the best things anymore because he's smaller. He's been diminished. We didn't think about carrots actually when we decided that. We didn't think about carrots because we were thinking about what rabbits eat in the wild, not when they raid your garden. But that's a great idea, actually. Carrots. You can go with carrots. That's a great, yeah, good point, Base Texan. That was, yeah, the grass thing. This was written down from a couple months ago. The original outline. The kind of the idea is to like remove the variety as much as makes sense. So three things seems like it's veritable, but I think we just, yeah, I know everyone does, but we were in forest mode. So when we're thinking about rabbits in the forest, you don't really think about carrots, but carrots do grow wild in some places. Yeah, so he already can't eat this. He already can't eat the salmon. He's already always hungry. Maybe they just yeah. Well, maybe they restrict his diet uh, as an attack, saying if you eat outside of these bounds, that means you hate bunnies. Because now we're away from the unfair attack. Now we're on the do this or else you hate us attack. So oh yeah, yeah. Let's go with the squirrels eat nuts because they think they're better than bunnies. The birds eat seeds because they think they're better than bunnies. The everyone who eats anything that bunnies don't eat, the only reason they do it is because they think they're better than us. And the reason they think they're better than us is they hate us. You don't. Yeah, there we go. That works, right? Does that work? Oh no, that would be horrifying. No. um, that will be the secret Patreon ending. Don't tell the kids. Like, I could write this parody and make it really dark and hilarious for adults. Afterward, that'd be fun. That could be fun. Get rid of all the golly gosh and put in cuss words instead. Well, I'm glad you're laughing in your kitchen. It's a great place to laugh. I think we figured it out how I think we figured out how they're going to limit his diet. I think we got that. Um only let's see. Yeah, that will happen. Yeah, Oso Grande will understand how badly he's hurt himself after the bunnies make him stay awake for winter. After that, like in between, like in between, in between in between skipping hibernation and being told that he needs to revile bears and say all bears are evil and believe it too. Between those two, that's where Donkey Jack is going to get his speech. Yeah. So Borg. That works actually a little bit. Uh, I don't think children these days will get that reference. You will be assimilated, and uh, your your technology and culture will be added to our perfection. Oh, what a terrifying, terrifying concept! Whoever came up with the Borg, oh golly, that's a frightening. Whoever came up with the Borg was a terrifying genius, in my humble opinion. But yeah, you guys are spot on with the confrontation, and here's how I think. Oh my god! I have to write that down. Sorry. For Bunny Organization for the Bunny Organization for the Rabbitization of Gaia. Forward. That is excellent, and I can throw that in there, and parents will get the joke, especially Barry parents. You guys will get that joke. It'll be great. It's like you are once you are almost a full member of the Bunny Organization for the Rabbitization of Gaia. Or Borg, for short. The only thing that you have to do now is revile bears and renounce ever being one. That's all you have to do, and then you're a full net member, and you're finally a good critter. Once you're nothing like yourself, now you're finally good. Yeah, I'm not going to use kneel or bend the knee because those two turns of phrase are simply too on the nose for the social issues that are going on right now, that I think kids need to have the, hey Dom, you missed the whole thing. I'm actually about to go off. But yeah. Alright, you guys have convinced me. Yard work is cool, Dom. You guys, but I've been convinced that Oso Grande gets to have a heroic ending, but it's bittersweet because he will never feel quite so big as he used to. I think that's a good one. Yeah, what do you guys think? Yeah, Dom, don't worry. We decided that Oso Grande gets his diet restrictions by saying that if you eat anything that rabbits don't eat, that means you hate bunnies. Because we're now that we're in the second group, the attack is no longer it's unfair. It's do this or else you hate us. So it shows how quickly it escalates now that he's agreed to nonsense already. And since he's agreed to nonsense, they can make him actually change, and it's gonna hurt him badly, especially not hibernating. That's going to hurt him badly. Yeah. So yeah, this is all right. Enjoy your yard work, Dom. You know, you could put me in earbuds. You know, and if you had a great, awesome idea, you'd stop and tipple tapple it out on your phone. I lurk in your stream. You know, I do lurk in your stream, Dom. Why can't you lurk in mine? Yeah, this is. But yeah, I am grateful for. Thank you all for coming, and thank you if you're watching this later. And this has been Field Talk. I'm the Field, also known as Field of Bears. You can, if you enjoyed the stream, hit like it, and if you want to see more, subscribe and hit the bell if you would like to be notified. You can also follow me on Twitter at Field of Bears. Link in the description. PayPal.me slash Field Talk if you would like to sow the field. Link also in the description. Ah. This never forget that socialism always ends in starvation and genocide. Tinder, I hope you win your magic fight with Shia, because it is awfully warm here. Have a great night, guys.